Fair warning, this film is a heavy watch, but what a watch it is. Hello Fanatics, I'm Dylan Phillips, and this is the Film Fanatic Review bringing you Detroit, starring Algee Smith, John Boyega, and Will Poulter. First, we'll tell you what the movie is about, and our initial thoughts. Then we'll move on to our spoiler-free likes and dislikes. We'll finish up with some spoiler-heavy thoughts on this film, and our final word. Detroit follows the story of a bloody night at the Algiers Motel during the Detroit Riots. Overall, all I can say about this film is, wow. You'll understand why in a bit. For what I like about this film, let's start off with the cast. I thought they did an outstanding job. While actors like Anthony Mackie and John Boyega do great in this film, there are three actors that stood out to me, and those were Algee Smith, Jacob Lattimore, and Will Poulter. The relationship that they built up between Algee and Jacob's characters was definitely genuine throughout the film, and when you were dealing with the actual horrific events at the Algiers Motel, you actually felt for these characters and you felt like you were a part of their relationship. And Will Poulter, you know, the guy that looks like Sid from Toy Story? He makes a crazy menacing villain. This guy reminded me a lot of Nurse Ratched. I also really like how they did the story of this film. It starts off as an expositionary documentary where they're kind of just setting the tone for what happened in Detroit. But then once you get to the event at the Algiers Motel, it becomes this home invasion horror. And then after the event, it goes back to documentary style as it kind of gives you the aftermath and what happened to all the characters. This to me was Kathryn Bigelow's best directed film to date. She uses her shaky camera style and editing techniques very effectively in this film to add to the frantic tension that you're supposed to feel. She definitely has a knack for that journalistic style war film, which leads me to the best part of this film, and that is the tone of it. You really get a sense of the tension and the helplessness and powerlessness that these people felt in this situation, and you come out of this movie with a different perception of what happened and the atrocity of the event. You literally feel like you're one of the people stuck in the Algiers Motel. However, the title for this film is a little bit misleading. You would expect a movie named Detroit to talk about the entire Detroit riots, but instead this movie sets the scene of the Detroit riots as the background and focuses primarily on the Algiers Motel incident. So I would have changed the name of this movie to something like Algiers or Justice. And the biggest problem I had with this film was probably the animated setup at the beginning of this film. I found that it was a little bit out of place with the tone of the rest of the story, and as much as you want to have some expositionary setup where you're going to be explaining the situation rather than taking 10-15 extra minutes to kind of explain everything through flashbacks, you could easily have done that through just having text on a screen and having the same audio that you had during the animation in order to elicit the same feeling. So you have buildings burning, you have gunshots, you have people screaming, but you have that over a black background. And that's where I'll end our spoiler-free thoughts on this film. If you want to hear our final word or rating of this film, pause now and click the link in the description, because now it's time for spoilers. Considering this is a historic event, there's no real spoilers to talk about, but I will say that my favorite scenes in this movie were every single one during the Algiers Motel incident. The intensity of those scenes and the fact that they were able to maintain that intensity for so long was incredible. So, with the thoughts heard, here's our final word. Detroit is an intense, emotional ride through the streets of Detroit to the events at the Algiers Motel. With sublime acting and outstanding direction, this deep-cutting biography blurs the line between drama and horror, making it a clear contender come awards season. This film absolutely blew me away. I felt the tension and the powerlessness through each scene, and that's not something a lot of films can do. And on top of that, the themes in this movie are incredibly relevant to today. So I'm gonna give Detroit a 9. Thanks everybody for watching our review. Are you planning on seeing Detroit? Or if you've already seen it, do you have something to add? What did you think of the story? Let us know in the comments below. I'm Dylan Phillips, and this has been the Film Fanatic Review. If you liked this video and you want to see more, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Check out our latest If You Liked video where we recommend movies similar to the film Landline. Don't forget to follow us on our social media. And until next time, Fanatics, keep it real.